Hello everyone, welcome to the Talent Tech. This is part 2 for API automation testing videos. So in this video we will include how to do the post and get request and how to test them. So we will show you Swagger. In Swagger we're going to show you how to do the get and post manually, and we're also going to talk about how the requirements are written in the Swagger by the product people. We're also going to be demonstrating how to do the manual testing using the Postman for post and get method, and then we're also going to show you how to do the automation of post and get in Postman. So those are the 4 or 5 things we're going to be covering in this video. So in my previous video I told you guys go ahead and download the Postman through the Google Chrome. It's an add-on, so if you haven't done that, please do it now because we're going to be using it right now. So to do the API testing, we do need to have an API. So in your company, of course, you're going to have an API. For our testing purposes, we're going to use this jar as an API. So pretty much, right, I have no API right now. So that's why I'm going to use this jar as my API. So let's look at the Swagger UI. So this side is now, it's not a valid set because nothing is running. No API has been no API is running in the local machine. So we're going to go ahead and do run the API from the jar file. So this jar is in my desktop, so we're going to navigate to the desktop, cd to the desktop, and then we're going to open this jar. So it's a jar file, which means we already know that this is a Java file, right? So we're going to write Java space -jar and then name of the file, which is tal tap, and then enter it, right? So it's going to go ahead and run this file for me, which has all the API. It's going to take like a couple of seconds, so let's wait. Okay, so it says it started the application, right? So we're going to go ahead and refresh this browser again. Let's see if the API has been actually running in our local machine. Oh, it is running. So we're going to be using landlords as an example. So where you can see that we have all the requests, right? So you have a get, you have post, you have put, you have delete, you have get. You have all those 4 methods that we talked about in our previous video, right? So today in today's demonstration, we're going to be taking care of these 2 methods, right? Which is a get and post. We're going to show you how to do that testing in Swagger itself, and how to do it through the API, through the Postman, right? Manually as well as automation. So let's go ahead and do, let's learn it. Let's look at the Swagger documentation first, right? So you can find it about the Swagger and online. Just go ahead and learn. It's a tool that you can go ahead and also do the manual testing. So post is pretty much like, as you say, like is going to create a new landlords, right? So here it says that if you look at the model, is going to say like, you know, the landlords to do the post, it require like 3 things, like which is a first name, last name, and the trusted. Okay, and trusted, it's a boolean, so it's an optional, right? Matter of fact, like they are putting everything in optional, but I don't think everything is an optional already, right? So you're going to go ahead and click right here, and you're going to type like first name Hassan, and then last name is text. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and try it out. If it's working, then you're supposed to get 2-1 as a response code. That means the new entity or new record has been created, or new landlord has been created successfully, right? So we're going to say try it out. Okay, so here's the response body. So as a tester, you need to verify the response code, and you also look at the response body. Make sure you do see your first name and last name, and it generates the ID for you, which is a unique ID. So you also need to verify if this is the correct ID that has been generated, right? So in the requirements, you're gonna have this as well inside the Swagger. Like once you create a new post, you're supposed to see this type of format of the message in your response body. So your job is to verify that as well. Make sure all the fields are not blank, or if this is in a string, you have to verify these. If this is a boolean, you need to verify that. So those are like schema testing, right? And then the major one is like you need to see the correct response code, right? So now we're gonna do a get. So since we created one, now we're gonna do a get. So inside the get is gonna retrieve all the landlords that has been created inside this API endpoint, which is a landlord, and then is gonna retrieve all of them, and also is gonna give us 200 as a response code. So let's try it out. And here is it. So we have the list of the landlords. So we have only one right now, as of right now, and as you can see, it's an array, so you know it's a list, right? And then response code is 200. So that's how you test inside the Swagger. Like, we have done post, we have done get, right? All right, cool. So now let's go back to the Postman. Let's create a new project. So click new for, just click this icon. So it's going to create a new collection. So we're going to name it called API, talent tag API, talent tag API. Okay, so this is my main project. Under this project, I'm going to go ahead and create a new get request. Okay, because remember the one entity you created. So we're going to see if we can retrieve this guy, this data, like Hassan. We can retrieve this Hassan landlord using our Postman. So go ahead and save this. So we're going to save it under talent tag API, right? Save it. Now as you see, it's a blank test, so we're going to go ahead and click edit, and we're going to select, get all landlords test. Okay, so we're going to, this is going to return all the landlords, right? And we need to verify whether it is a 200 or not. So to so for the get, you just need to pass the URI, right? Enter the request URL. So we're going to go ahead and copy the URL. So right now, since I'm running the API through my local machine, so this is the URL that I'm going to be using, slash the landlords, right? So we're going to save it again, and we're going to run it. And as you can see that this one has been executed, like this is the body that we also got the same response that Swagger also gave us. If you look at it, like the ID is LD4, and here is LD4 and test, Hassan test, whatever it is. So whatever we have done into the Swagger, it has been done here. So now let's create a post, right? So what you can do, like I usually do this, I take a shortcut, I duplicate this one, right, and I rename it. Go ahead and add it and rename it. So create a new landlord. Create a new landlord. Okay, landlord. So this is when I copied it, it was a get. So pretty much like once you create it, it's a put, right? So it's a post. I mean, so we're gonna do a post, right? We're gonna save it. Now post, if you run it right now, it's not gonna do much anything. Like it says 415 unsupported media type, which is invalid. Like something is wrong with this request, right? So post does require a you need to pass some values inside the body. So like, which is this one, right? So we're gonna go ahead and copy this guy, and then we're gonna pass it into the body. So go back to the body right here, click on raw, right? And what are the types, like what are the content type? Remember in the first class we talked about the type. So look at the content type. It says response content type has to be application/JSON, right? And then parameter content type is application plus JSON. When you receiving it is also a JSON file. If you look at the file, JSON format, right? So we're gonna go ahead and do that in our Postman. So those are the requirements, right? So we're gonna set draw, and then you see right here as the default it says text. We're gonna change it to the application JSON, or you can do the through here headers. You see, I added it from the body, and it automatically came to the headers, right? So now we're gonna go ahead and paste the value right here. So now we're gonna create another landlords. So let's say QA automation, API automation. So this is a new landlord gonna be creating through the Postman. So we're gonna go ahead and execute this one, execute this test case. Now it says 2.1 created, and new landlord has been created. Now let's go ahead and cross check whether it has been created or not through the Swagger. So we're gonna go ahead and do the get request. So now initially we had only one, because this is the one we created through the Swagger. Now we created one through the Postman. So that should be here as well when you do the get request, right? So let's go ahead and click on try it out. And as you can see, it's the array list, and it gave us two landlords. One is a Hassan and last name is a test. Second one is a QA, and the last name is API automation. Now let's do the get in Postman as well to see if I see two records. So go ahead and do that, and I do see the same thing. So, and its status is 200. So that's how you do your get and post in the Swagger as well as in Postman. Okay, now since we did the get, so this is manual testing, right? So you need to go ahead and open the Postman during the release or sanity check or regression test, whatever. You need to go ahead and manually execute one by one and look at the response code. Oh, make sure it's a JSON. Oh, make sure my status is 200 for the get and 300 201 uh, for my post method, right? So we're not going to do that. We're not going to take that headache anymore. We're going to go ahead and automate this. So for the get, we know our status should be 200. So there is a shortcut one, like snippet. You can go ahead and click one called status code. So this one is going to verify whether you have 200 or not. So go ahead and write send, and go ahead. Here is it. Is retrieving all the three landlords that has been created and has one test. You had only one test cases right here that has been executed. If you go to the test tab, right, it says pass. For example, like I'm verifying whether it actually is working or not, right? So I'm going to put 201. So what it's going to do is going to go ahead and retrieve the data, but it did fail the test cases because actual versus. So this is my actual response code.code, because I don't know what's going to be that output, but I do know my response code, right? It should be 201, but in this case we failed it on purpose, so to see that it actually the Postman is working or not, right? So as you can see, like it did fail the test cases. So pretty much like let's pass it now. So we know our expected data is 200. We don't know our actual data. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna say like actual versus expected. Make sure it's working, right? And this is nothing. When you do a test, you just gotta say tests, like make sure TESTS, not test, and then whatever things you want to put, just like when you do Java, like system.out, inside the system.out you put like your own personal message, right? So that's similar concept right here as well. So here you can see exactly what you are testing. Like for example, now I'm going to change this one to my test case. So I'm going to say get all landlords test. So when I run this test, I know that get landlord test has been executed and it passed out of 1, right? And same thing we're going to do for 201. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this one. So here we also need to verify the response code. In this time, since it's a post, it's going to be 201. Okay, so it's going to be 201, creating new landlord. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and create a new landlord, and one test cases we had, and it did execute it and did the cross check. Response code actual versus expected is 201, is passing. Your test is pretty much done. So what are the second tests you can do? So this is one of the test cases that you wrote for this this suite, right? This request, create a new landlord. So all you need to make sure, like whatever the body you have, like whatever the data you have, make sure it's returning the same one, because you need to verify that, right? Because make sure it doesn't return something else. So let's put a new value called API. I'm gonna put API as a first name and tag is the last name. Okay, so if I send this request, I'm supposed to see first name is the API and the last name is a tag. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and automate that as well. So to do that, we need to snippet one of the thing called response body. Environment variable. Okay, so this is good. So because we're this is the response, right? We are going to retrieve the data from the response body, and then we're going to do a cross check, right? So let's say like verify the first name. Verify the first name is what's the first name supposed to be? API. Okay, so first name is API. Okay, so this is our test, right? Is equal to JSON data object reference dot what dot the first name. Where did I get the first name from? From here. Okay, is equal to 2 equal sign or 3 equal sign, doesn't matter, is body API. So we're gonna copy and paste it in here and boom. So this is second test. So one is like verifying the response code. Second thing, we are verifying the first name. Same thing we can do with the last name. verify the last name. Last name should be tech. So we're gonna put tech right here, and tech right here, and we're gonna change this last. So make sure uppercase, camel case, make sure it does match with the object key right here. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and save this and execute this test. So now, as you can see, I have 3 tests, and they all 3 are passing. Now, for example, like I want to just fail these test cases. I just want to make sure it's actually failing. So inside the body, I'm passing API is the first name, tech is the last name, and in my test case, when I'm writing the test script, I'm gonna say text, whatever, right? Because I want my third test case to be failed. So we're gonna go ahead and execute this one, execute this test, and it went, and it ran 2 out of 3. So 2 test cases has been passed, and the third one failed because the data we're looking for tech, but we're looking for text, but we found tech, right? If you look at the body, so last time is a tech, but we are looking for text. So that's why these test cases has been failed. Okay, so that's how you perform the API testing in Postman and Swagger manually as well as automation. Okay, and in our future video we will show you how to capture this ID, because there will be a scenario like you need to go ahead and delete these landlords, right? And this ID is the unique value that you, because anybody can have the same similar first name and similar last name, but the ID is going to be every time you're going to create a new landlord. As you can see from the get request, all the IDs are unique, right? All the ID is unique, so we need to capture this ID whenever we create a new landlord, and in order to delete this landlord. So in our future video we're also going to show you how to do that part. So for now, this video is going to cover you how to do the get request and post request in Swagger as well as in Postman. In Postman we showed you how to do the manually as well as automation. In Swagger we showed you how to do manually. Alright, so wait for the next video, and where we will show you how to do the put and how to do the delete. Okay, thank you and have a nice day.